While it is widely considered that William Henry Gates III had the greatest nominal wealth in recorded history, which occurred on April 5, 1999, when his net worth in US dollars was $101 billion, an interesting question arises as to who were the wealthiest persons in ancient history. To qualify for this list, the person had to be born before the Common Era. Their net worth is also adjusted for inflation and other economic factors. Coming in at number 5 is Croesus. Croesus was the king of Lydia. He was born in 595 BCE and died in 547 BCE, which means he lived for 48 years. Croesus is considered to have been so rich that his name became a synonym for a wealthy man. When calculating or taking into account that he owned everything in his kingdom, and that he derived immense wealth from an alleged partnership with King Midas and the gold deposits in the river Pactolus, and given that he supposedly invented the first formalized currency systems and coinage, Croesus' net worth, when adjusted for inflation, was probably around $430 billion. Given that he lived 2,561 years ago, this is a rough estimate and highly probabilistic, but it was likely around $430 billion. The likely fourth richest person in all of ancient history is Imperator Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus of the Julio-Claudian dynasty. He was born September 23, 63 BCE and died 14 CE at the age of 75. Augustus was the first emperor of Rome. Given his immense power and complete control of all that resided in the mighty Roman Empire, taking into account his control of the entire Roman treasury and its land holdings, Augustus' net worth adjusted for inflation was around $680 billion. This is taking into account inflation and other economic factors like buying power during the person's time and quantity of said person's material possessions. But again, given how long ago he lived, this is a rough estimate and highly probabilistic. The third richest person in all of ancient history was Cyrus II of Persia. Cyrus was the founder of the Achaemenid Empire. Some sources say he was born in 580 BCE and died on December 4th, 530 BCE. Cyrus II of Persia was so powerful he held the titles of King of Persia, King of Aryavarta, King of Anshan, King of Media, King of Babylon, King of Sumer and Akkad, and King of the four corners of the world. His massive wealth can be attributed to his nominal ownership as king of everything in his domains and the value of his land via his empire, which by some sources was the largest empire in the ancient world and possibly the largest the world has ever seen to this day. Adjusting for inflation, Cyrus II of Persia's wealth can be roughly estimated as around $800 billion. This is a probabilistic estimate because such wealth is hard to ascertain with exactitude since Cyrus has been dead for 2,590 years. But given his power over an empire that large and the landholding valuation of that alone, adjusted for inflation and taking into account what such land would price in today's market and other economic considerations, like his reign of 30 years with economic tribute being paid, this is a plausible estimate. The second richest person in all of ancient history was Marcus Licinius Crassus. Crassus was a Roman general and politician. Crassus was born in 115 BCE and died in 53 BCE at the age of 62. He is regarded by some as the wealthiest man in Roman history. He was also a member of the First Triumvirate, a financial patron of Julius Caesar, and one of the key rivals of Pompey. Crassus is also famous to history for his battle with Spartacus and having effectively ended the Third Servile War. Crassus amassed his wealth through prescriptions, slave trafficking, and real estate. His net worth is estimated by some sources, like Instash.com, as $2 trillion. And the richest person in ancient history was none other than Solomon, king of Israel and son of David. If the Bible is to be believed, King Solomon's wealth was immense. It is said that Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. His wealth became so great because of the land holdings of his kingdom, and he supposedly received 25 tons of gold annually. He also supposedly received over 600 talents of gold in gifts. He also accumulated immense wealth through other sources like businesses. The Bible looks to be a fairly untrustworthy source, but if it is to be believed, then Solomon was probably the richest person in all of ancient history, and possibly ever. WorldsRichPeople.com rates King Solomon's net worth at $2.1 trillion. Going by that valuation alone, he is $100 billion richer than Marcus Licinius Crassus.